Certainly, there's been a lot of talk about the Pompidou over the center over the past 2 months, and good on Jersey City. They got that $24 million commitment from the state. No small feat. But with that in mind, I think the first question on this is there's a big discrepancy in what people believe the city is actually going to spend. I mean, I've seen, some people say that it's going to be a $3 million a year commitment. Some say $6 million. Some say $12 million. You get the picture. So when it's all encompassed together, I mean, by my calculation, including the state funding, it was about $48 million, not counting bonding costs and other construction costs. So I just want to check, what exactly is the investment?
Where is that $48 million from?
Well, I think that would be if it was $24 million from the state, and then if it was $6 million a year until 2024 for the city, then that would be 24 and 24. So I don't know if that's right, but
no.
All right. So what do you think's the actual cost right now?
Look, at the end of the day, a lot of this is going to be driven by how the community wants the programming to look. So, when the Pompidou opened their outpost in Brussels, as an example, which is a city similar in size. I think Jersey City is actually larger than Brussels. Okay, they started with a show defining what a masterpiece is, and at that point they moved a lot of their major works from Paris to Brussels, and they had hundreds of thousands of people visit that and create a real tourist situation in Brussels around that exhibit. That's an option. They're willing to do those sort of things on a large scale here, and that obviously has a higher cost than, let's say, highlighting some more of the local initiatives, which they also are an expert in, and working with community partners. So once we get through the programming and working with the community on that, there'll be more clarity specifically around the economics. The fact that the state was willing to put in $24 million, which was the biggest line item on any such initiative like this in the state of New Jersey, speaks to the importance of this, not just to Jersey City, but to the entire state of New Jersey. So again, there's going to be critics. That's the nature of where the job is that I do today. But I think that when you look at the net positives versus the net negatives of a project like this, of global significance, right? It's hard to argue that this, at the end of the day, won't be a huge positive for Jersey City local artists and beyond. And I'm excited about it. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the exact dollar amount. I'm going to tell you that I do believe that we have it budgeted through both the extreme and the less extreme in a way that'll have a minimal impact on the taxpayers, and that I wouldn't go down this road unless I'm comfortable that taxpayers could afford it.
Okay.
Now, where are we with Lowe's?
What?
Because Lowe's, and where are we at this point?
Got a conference call at 4:30 today. They were at Historic Preservation earlier this week. It's moving. It's a $72 million renovation. We're working with the state on some of the grant dollars around that. I feel like Friends of the Lowe's is in a good place with regards to the conversations that we're having with the Devil's Organization. It's going to be an exciting time for Journal Square when you look at the Pompidou, when you look at the buildings that the council agreed that we could acquire from the college, when you look at the Lowe's, when you look at what's on deck between some of the pathway that the NAMDAR is making between their multiple buildings, and it's going to have a very similar feel to the Newark Avenue pedestrian plaza. It's part of kind of the requirement for their buildings. And then, of course, you have the Kushner projects there and the Harwood project, which looks like that might get moving as well in the very near term. So it's an exciting time to be in Journal Square, and the Pompidou is an important part of that, as is the Lowe's.
Okay.
And they're both moving.
We done with Pompidou?
You can keep going on.
We're done with Pompidou.
Pompidou,
Yeah.
that's kind of like jewelry for Jersey City. It's not something we need, but it's something you would like to see Jersey City have.
Let me say this. No, I disagree on that, okay? We are a city that aspires to be the best mid-sized city in the country. And that means that we need to reach big, and we shouldn't be complacent with just having a neighborhood or small facility. We should be dreaming big and aspiring big for everything that we do. And we've tried to do that. And it's not only about a museum, it's about social services, it's about reimagining what the housing authority could look like, it's about how we position things like Bayfront, it's about thinking big around Sci-Tech City. And so when somebody says, well, you don't really need it, I think all of these things are part of having a great city. And so to me, when you think about kind of the future of Jersey City and you want to have a global brand and a global destination and someplace that is really, really significant beyond just people talking about it as being a sixth borough, which is offensive to me, these things are important. Very, very important. And we could do multiple things at the same time, which I think we're doing.
See, I kind of liken the Pompidou to, if you recall, Mayor Healy wanted to bring the Jets to Jersey City for a training facility down on Cape and Point
Which
Road.
I think would have been great.
Again, it would have been great. It's good jewelry for the city, but it's not something we really need.
Well,
So that's how I looked at Pompidou.
You could do the basic things from a public service standpoint, police and fire and housing and social services, and at the same time do the other things that build a city. I think that over the last 8 years, the fact that we are such a growing city speaks to the success that we've had. We're more of a destination. People are aspiring to be here at a higher rate than they ever have before. The brand of the city is different than it was certainly 8 years ago. Young people view the city differently how they used to view it. The investment that's coming in here, those are all signs of a healthy city. It's not a perfect city, but it's a healthy city. Most cities in the country would dream of having these sort of things. When you think about transformational projects that we have in the city, most people would say, hey, I would hope as a city to have maybe one transformational type project. We have multiple ones. What's happening in Journal Square, as I said, Bayfront, the whole municipal complex on Ward F. You think about these things, they're really significant and they speak to not extra things, they're all part of a healthy, growing ecosystem, which is what we have, I think.